It's funny. Sound keeps coming in and out.
Eternal God, we ask your help, for our need is great. Our days fly past in quick succession, and we cannot look back without regret or ahead without misgiving. We seek to understand the mystery of our own lives, but our effort is in vain. And when suffering and death strike those we love, our faith all but fails us, and we forget that we are your children. God, help us now to feel your presence. When our own weaknesses and the storms of life hide you from our sight, help us to know that you are with us still. Uphold us with the comfort of your love. Shiviti, I place God before me always.
Shiviti Adonai, lanekti tamid, kimimini לכן שמח ליבי ויגל כבודי אף בשרי ישכון לבטח כי לא תעזוב נפשי לשאול לא תיתן חסידך לראות שחור תניעני אורח חיים אורח חיים סוף השמחות לפניך נעמוד המנחה נצח שיביתי אדוני לנגדי תמיד כי ממני בול אמות.
Yom Kippur without my father and without my mother is not Yom Kippur. From the blessing of their hands on my head, just the tremor has remained, like the tremor of an engine that didn't stop even after their death. Susie Copel is going to light our first candle.
Together, we were like two guide wires supporting a fragile sapling. Our tenuous lives, dreams, fantasies entwined as one. Slowly, the sapling flourished, rooted, produced two sons. One day, after 42 years, without warning, you let go.
And the next piece for personal reflection, we're going to read silently. And Ruth Geller is lighting our second candle.
The courage that my mother had, the courage that my mother had went with her and is with her still, went with her. And she was a rock from Poland, quarried, and now the granite is on a granite hill. The golden brooch that my mother wore, she left behind for me to wear. And I have no thing that I treasure more. Yes, it is something I could spare. Oh, if instead she'd left me the things she took into the grave, the courage like a rock, which she has no more need of, and I really have.
Lift up mine eyes to the mountains, from whence shall come my help. My help shall come from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. May your footsteps never falter when in sleep, not nor God, either sleep, not nor slumber. Israel's God, the Lord will guard you from evil. He will guard your soul. The Lord will guard your going and coming, both now and forever.
Another piece for silent reflection. And Randy Lester Wilson is going to light our third candle.
The echo of your promise. When I cry, my voice trembles with fear. When I call out, it cracks with anger. How can I greet the dawn with song when darkness eclipses the rising sun? To whom shall I turn? The clouds of the present eclipse the days of tomorrow. Turn me around to yesterday, that I may be consoled by its memories. Were not the seas split asunder? Did we not once walk together with the waters to the dry side? Did we not bless the bread that came from the heavens? Did your voice not reach my ears and direct my wanderings? The waters, the lightning, the thunder remind me of yesterday's triumphs. Let the past offer proof of tomorrow. Let it be my comforter and guarantor. I have been here before, know the fright and found your companionship. I enter the sanctuary again, wait the echo of your promise.
Please think about this next piece silently. Carolee's going to light the next candle.
Footprints. Everything will remember that I was here. The ships will be the color of my clothing. The birds will use my voice for singing. The fishermen on the rock will ponder my poem. The river will follow my footprints.
Here's some meditations to think about. Yizkor meditations. There's a candle first. Carolyn Orens is going to light the fifth candle.
Let evening come. Let the light of late afternoon shine through chinks in the barn, moving up the bales as the sun moves down. Let the cricket take up chafing as a woman takes up her needles and her yarn. Let evening come. Let dew collect on the hoe abandoned in long grass. Let the stars appear and the moon disclose her silver horn. Let the fox go back to its sandy den. Let the wind die down. Let the shed go black inside. Let evening come. To the bottle in the ditch, to the scoop in the oats, to air in the lung, let evening come. Let it come as it will, and don't be afraid. God does not leave us comfortless, so let evening come.
ידו הפקירוכי בעת אישון ויהירו ויברוכי גבייתי אדוני לי ולא ירא ויברוכי גבייתי Adonai li v'lo yira. My soul I give to you, my spirit in your care. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Hold me in your hand. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Safe within your hand. Yado afkiruchi, ba'et ishon ve'yayira, va'imruchi geviyati. Adonai li v'lo yira, va'imruchi geviyati. Adonai li v'lo yira.
Some words for personal reflection. Next slide, please. Gail Webb is going to light the sixth candle.
One leaf left on a branch and not a sound of sadness or despair. One leaf left on a branch and no unhappiness. One leaf left all by itself in the air, and it does not speak of loneliness or death. One leaf, and it spends itself in swaying mildly in the breeze.
Jim Warrens is going to light our seventh candle.
God is my shepherd, I shall not want. God gives me rest in green pasture, guides me by the restful waters, refreshes my soul, directs me along straight trails for the sake of God's name. Even when I pass through the valley of ominous shadows, I am not frightened, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff calm me. You provide for me even if there are enemies about. Your care exceeds all expectation. My cup overflows. Truly, a generous goodness will pursue me all the days of my life, and I shall be with God as long as I live.
מזמור לדוד, אדוני ראוי לו אכזר, בנאות דשא ירביצני, עמי מנוחות ינחלני. נפשי ישובב, נפשי ישובב, ינחני במעגלי צדק, במעגלי צדק למען שמו. גם כי אלך בגיא המוות, לא בשכנתך, המה ינחמוני. תערוך לפני שולחן, תערוך לפני שולחן, נגד צוררי. תשנת ושמן ראשי, תשנת ושמן ראשי, תשנת ושמן ראשי, כוסי רוויה. אך טוב החסד, אך טוב החסד, ירדפוני כל ימי חיי, ושבתי בבית אדוני, ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים.
The 23rd Psalm, which is what Rabbi Rosenstein just chanted. No other psalm, perhaps no other prayer but the Kaddish itself, is as inseparable from our experience of grief and mourning as the 23rd. One phrase so simple and direct, yet emotionally profound, has made it so. Ki ata imadi, for you are with me. Or in the language of an earlier age, for thou art with me. To arrive at those words after passing through the valley of the shadow of death is to know, in the words of Rabbi Joshua Loth Liebman, that God contains and supports us as a mighty ocean contains and supports the infinitesimal drops of every wave. To arrive at those words is to feel at home in the cosmos, held and comforted, cared for, and serene. The 23rd Psalm does not make promises that cannot be kept. The end of all evil, the eradication of suffering and pain, sunshine instead of shadows. It makes one promise, only this: you are not alone. Further silent reflection. This past year has been particularly difficult in terms of losses. Too many people have passed away because of COVID, and too many people in our congregation and people related to people in our congregation. So here's a tribute to all those who passed away this year.
רק כאשר הם עצמם עבדו בינם. יש אנשים שזיו זכרם מאיר, כאשר הם עצמם אינם עוד בתוכנו. אורות אלה המבהיקים בחשכת הליל, הם שמראים לאדם את הדרך, את הדרך. הם שמראים לאדם את הדרך, את הדרך. יש כוכבים שאורם מגיע ארצה, רק כאשר הם עצמם עבדו בינם. יש אנשים שזיו זכרם מאיר, כאשר הם עצמם אינם עוד בתוכנו. דורות פלא המבהיקים בחשכת הליל, הם שמראים לאדם את הדרך, את הדרך. הם שמראים לאדם את הדרך, את הדרך. הם שמראים לאדם את הדרך, את הדרך. הם שמראים לאדם את הדרך, את הדרך, את הדרך, את הדרך.
We continue with El Male Rachamim. If you're able to, you might want to stand or rise in your own spirit.
El Male Rachamim, Shochen Bamramim, Hamtzeh Menucha Nechona, תחת כנפי השכינה, עם קדושים וטהורים, כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים, ונשמות יקירינו שהלכו לעולמם. בעל הרחמים יסתירם בסתר כנפיו לעולמים, ויצרוע בצרוע חיים את נשמתם, אדוני הוא נחלתם, וינוחו בשלום על משכבם, ונאמר Amen.
You may be seated. What is the correct way to stand at a memorial ceremony? Erect or stooped? Pulled taut as a tent or in the slump posture of mourning? Head bowed like the guilty or held high in a collective protest against death? Eyes gaping frozen like the eyes of the dead, or shut tight to see stars inside? And what is the best time for remembering? At noon, when shadows are hidden beneath our feet, or at twilight, when shadows lengthen like longings that have no beginning, no end, like God? We remember those who have passed on. May their memories all be for a blessing. We offer our condolences to the family of Harel Altman. We're observing Shiva for Bob Pearlstein, father of Adam Pearlstein and longtime congregant. We're observing Shloshim for Alan Pasternak, brother-in-law of Joan Pasternak and uncle to the Mangus family. And Shloshim for Elaine Burke, great aunt of Jason Winston. First year for Howard Siegel. If you'd like to add any names, if you're observing Shiva, Shloshim, or the first year, please do so in the chat. Beth Rosen. Solomon Fishman, first year. Irene Sherman, first year. Larry Posen, Robert Doctor, George Ween, first year. Manuel Olivas, Sandy Schneider, Rabbi Bennett Herman, Marvin and Marilyn Rogers, first year. Eliud Martinez, Brenda Oppenheim, first year. Bernie Naiman, Stan Walkman, first year. Sanford Victor, first year. Doris Dubinsky, Sue Badowski, aunt of Rosalind Jones. Heshi Glick, first year. Frank Andrews, first year. Roald Flater, Pauline Geerlings, Kirsten Fischler, Lori Lietman, Gail Tunison, Beryl Tunison, Alex Hewson, first year. Roberta Abrams. We're also observing yard sites for Louis Tarmo, Teresa Tior, Barney Bauman, Abraham Herman, Buell Perkins, Lawrence Gershon, Lee Siegel, Eugene A. Nazarek, Louis Reisner, Florence Halpert, Rosa Shear. Is anyone else observing a yard site? Helen and Michael Lebow. And of course, we think of those who perished because of COVID-19, because of floods and fires, Afghanistan, and those who perished in the Holocaust and have no one to say the Moors Kaddish for them. Please join me. I'm looking one more time. Thelma Levine, Terry Heilman. And if you feel that you would like to unmute, please do so. Yikadal, V'yikadash, Shemei Rabbah. Ve'almad Yivrach Yechutei, V'yamlich Malchutei, V'chayachon U'v'yomechon, V'chayei Dechol Beit Yisrael, V'agalah Zman Kariv, Yimru, Amen.
Amen.
Yehei Shmei Rabbah V'barach Almaya. Yitbarach V'ar V'ramam V'yitzeh, V'tadar V'taleh V'talal Shemei V'tavarichu, La'ela Ula'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata, Tushbachata V'nechmata, V'alma. Amen. Hey Shlama Rabba Mitchumaya, Chaim Aleinu Kol Yisrael. Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimrocha, Ya'aseh Shalom, Amen.
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 May the source of strength give strength to all who are in mourning and peace to all who are bereaved. As together we say, Amen.
Amen.
Words of hope. Hello, everybody.
Myself.
I'm trying to get a different picture. Oh, there we are. Okay. I'm going to spotlight myself. All right. So usually we spend some time during our Yizkor service remembering people that we're thinking of today. And so I'd like to invite people to, if you feel like sharing, tell us who you're thinking about today, and also something about them, some value that they passed on to you, something really precious that you have as a result of your relationship with that person. So please feel free to unmute and to share that with us.
Hi, Rabbi. I'll go ahead and go first
Stephen,
because
if you're
I'm
trying to
shy.
talk, I can't hear you for some reason. It doesn't look like you're muted, but
Can anyone else hear me?
could someone unmute people if they need to unmute? I don't know why we can't
I
hear
can
Stephen.
hear him
Okay.
I
fine.
can hear
I
him.
can hear
I can
him.
hear him.
fine.
My speaker. Oh, that's why. Thank you. All righty. Okay, Stephen, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
This week, a man named George Wein died. He was a friend of my father's, a friend of my family's. George Wein was a pioneer to music festivals. He started the Newport Jazz Festival nearly 50 years ago, and he is held in high esteem in the music world as the reason we have music festivals today. And so I am mourning the loss of a family friend and a great man, George Wein, that died this week at age 96.
I'm sorry for that loss. Would other people like to share? I know usually people share. Ruth, do you want to share who you're thinking about today?
My problem is there are so many that it would be very difficult to talk about everyone. But of course, Flora Fell that died today, Yom Kippur, 102 years old, an inspiration to the whole family, even though she lost her husband at a very early age, but she really contributed a lot in life. Of course, my beloved husband, who contributed so much in his life in teaching and volunteering, and so many people who have benefited from all the things that he did. My son, my mother, my in-laws, there are just so many, but I really appreciate this beautiful service that we had tonight, the Yizkor, and actually from this morning on, I feel very privileged to be part of this wonderful community with the best rabbi in the world and just so many wonderful people, and to name them all. So I'm sorry to take up so much time, but I really treasure all of the memories of these wonderful people that have been in my life, and I'm so grateful. And of course, Jason made us realize during Musar that gratitude is important and chesed is important, and those are the things we hope to do. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ruth, and you certainly embody chesed and gratitude. We appreciate it. Susie, did you want to speak?
I think of my beloved father who taught me the basics of how to be a Jew and was my mentor. And of course, my beloved husband, whom I lost a year and a half ago, who was wonderful father and husband. And my in-laws, my brother-in-law, and my grandparents who perished in the Holocaust, and all the friends I've lost throughout the years here in Riverside. And I just want to say, Rabbi, how much I appreciate you and all who help you do this wonderful service. And I appreciate this Jewish community very much.
Thank you very much, Susie. We appreciate you. Bill Oppenheim.
Well, of course, I'm thinking of my parents and my grandparents, and of course, my immediate thoughts of my beloved Brenda, and my thoughts, what she taught me is compassion for all. She had the greatest heart and the most compassion.
Thank you. We miss her. We miss everybody who was mentioned already. Tiffany.
I was thinking of two people today, and one is Maggie Johnson, who I met through Temple and through Randy and Ryan. And she really was someone who I felt just loved life and lived it to the fullest and just wanted to enjoy every minute of it. And I miss her a whole bunch because of that. And I also was thinking of my dad today. So I was talking to someone about him today and how he was just a light and a life at any event, and everyone just enjoyed being with him. And I'm so grateful that I learned that from him. So
Thank you, Tiffany. Anybody else want to share?
I have 5 yard sites at Shabbat Shuvah at this time of year. It's this time of year is very, very difficult. My father was born on Shabbat Shuvah, had his bar mitzvah on Shabbat Shuvah, and died on Shabbat Shuvah.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yes. And my father-in-law died on Yom Kippur one year. So my mother and my sister-in-law and my cousin Joe Lascu survived the Holocaust. So I'm thinking of them. Of course, I'm thinking of Robbie, whom I think of every day, and how much I miss him and how wonderful he was. What a wonderful physician and leader in the community and wonderful father. Anyway, I want to thank the cantor for singing the song, the part of the tefillah that we only do on Shabbat Shuvah, because I used to sing that particular thing with my father every High Holy Days. So thank you very much. The whole service was wonderful. And that particular part of the tefillah really brought back a lot of memories. Good memories.
Thank you, Carolee. I'm just going to read something in the chat. Fred Oppenheim says, I can't talk right now due to emotions. I'm thinking my dad, Joseph Jerome. I always feel him on Yom Kippur as though he is right beside me. Elise.
Yes, I have so appreciated all the service. Wait, something's not working.
Oh, you're fine.
Oh,
You're fine.
there. Okay, hi. I've just, the temple has meant so much to me, and all during COVID, it has meant so much. And sometimes Eliud would watch it with me. It's been so important to have that connection to people through Zoom, and I'm grateful for that and for all the beautiful services this holiday. And I want to say that, of course, I'm missing my beloved husband, Eliud, and they had a beautiful article about him in the press on Sunday, which was called Yolandi Institute to Honor Late UCR Professor Eliud Martinez. And some of you sent me copies. I've gotten a lot in the mail, and it's because there's going to be the award given in Inlandia for a writer that was given by Galen Duncan Webb. Every year there'll be a writer's award. Also, UCR has a scholarship, but he has. I mean, I'm getting so many responses that like, again, it's like crazy. It's amazing, and he was so dear and so loved. And students are saying, "Oh, he was amazing. He even jumped on the table once. He was so enthusiastic about teaching a topic."
That's great.
He was a very special person, and we all miss him so dearly. And I do appreciate all my community with the synagogue.
Yes, it was a very beautiful article about him, definitely. Pete, Doctor.
Rabbi, thank you. Today, families were remembering Robert Doctor. We transitioned this year, and one small thing I'll say about him as I'm reflecting today is, as will be translated into Hebrew for his yahrzeit plate. My father, he lived by the motto Semper Fidelis, many know as the Marine Corps motto of always being faithful, and he lived by that. He embodied it. And what I'm appreciating these months, as last couple of years, is it wasn't just a brand for the Marine Corps. Very much for him. He was always there for his fellow Marine, but I realized how extended to his family, his community. And he wasn't the most Jewish person, but he never let go of it because it was his fidelity, his link to his ancestors, to his parents that he lost at a very young age. And he was always faithful to his ancestors. And I'm happy that we can be together today. I'm very grateful for this service. As you know, I've become quite estranged from this community as a biracial, mixed race person. And I appreciate the space that you built here. And I didn't realize how much mourning I have left to do, having taken on so many responsibilities as the executor of a trust. And that's been my focus and taking my time that this service gave the space to recognize the work I got to do myself. And so I hope I can look at those questions again, because I don't know all the answers to those questions and I really need to see them again. So I hope I can see this again. Thank you, Rabbi and Temple
Sure. Thank you for being so open about your dad. I can certainly send you a PDF of the slides. If anybody wants them for any of the services, just let me know. Also, the services are all going to be online. They've been recorded. I don't know about the live streaming because that is an automatic record, but I think we've been having some trouble with our live streaming. I'm going to do a tiny bit of editing just because, you know, like the last session with Jason, there were breakout rooms, and so recording that is not a lot of fun to watch. You just watch someone sitting there waiting for breakout rooms to be over. But this is going to be up. It'll probably take a couple of days, but I'll get it up there. Also, we had a session right before the afternoon service on grief. Jill Johnson Young led that session. So if any of you missed it, we'll have it up there again in a couple of days. And I really think it's worthwhile. She really, I think, gave us some resources to deal with grief. So all of this will be, you know, available to everybody. Anyone else want to say anything?
I'd like to say, Rabbi.
Yes, please.
I'm remembering my in-laws, Joe and Ida Bronstein, and also my parents that you all know, Norma and Heshy Glick. And my parents had been members of Temple Bethel since 1969. So I went through the religious school, confirmation, got married there. And my parents' life just revolved around the temple. All of their friends, everything they did, even travels was with people from the temple. And I've kind of just followed suit with that. And having, with my mom's funeral, we got to be in the temple, and hearing and seeing everybody and hearing everyone's stories was very comforting. With my dad, it was different because it was during COVID. He passed away from COVID. And, we had to wait 5 weeks for his funeral. And then the Shiva was on Zoom, memorial service was on Zoom. So I didn't really get the same thing that I got when my mom passed away. And it's like hearing the stories that everyone from the temple has, their experience with my parents is helpful in my healing because it helps show me another part of my parents that I didn't see. So I appreciate that.
Thank you, Susan. Joan? You're muted, Joan.
I wanted to share a little bit about my husband, Sandy. Sandy, I was always more attached to Temple Bethel than my husband. And he had the link through the ancestries, but he never had the kind of feeling I had for the temple community. And in some ways, that was really difficult for me because I'd want to participate more, and he was not interested. But I want to tell a funny story about him. Bless his heart. He always was preparing for what might happen. I said he was a perennial Boy Scout of always being prepared. So whenever we had anything done in the house, he always got extra this and extra that, and he would stow it away just in case something happened to it so we'd have something to replace. And twice now, since he passed away in April, I've been the benefit of those preparations that he made. When things got broken or somebody broke something, I said, aha, wait, Daddy probably has one of those put away somewhere so I can replace it. So in that way, he was taking care of us and preparing for his own future when he wouldn't be here. And thanks for giving me the opportunity to share that. And I really appreciate the temple community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joan. Harvey Kurland wrote in the chat, I'm remembering my parents, Abraham and Dorothy, my cousin Amy, friends Manuel Mendel and Barbara Tisdale, and mentor Shung Ta-chen. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Would anybody else like to speak? We have time for maybe one more. Okay, great.
This is Laura Bachman. I would just like to say I'm thinking of my dad, Shell Bachman. I have a lot of memories of him that, I think about him every day. And I have so many memories. I know my mom does too. So many just everlasting memories. One that is interesting every time the high holidays roll around is I still see him like it was just yesterday, walking through the synagogue, wearing his suit, his tie, kind of like what he wore in his early days as a professor. And I still see him just walking through the halls, coming to the row where my mom and my brother were sitting, were standing, doing services. And I just still see him walking in, putting his arm around me, winking, saying he loves me. And this time of year, with autumn, my dad, people who know my dad was a poet, and my dad just loved autumn. So something about the high holidays, the season transitioning into autumn just makes me think of my beloved dad. And I just wanted to share that. And thank you for just the beautiful service and for all that you do.
Well, thank you. That's a lovely remembrance of your dad. So we're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we're going to conclude with Ne'ilah and, of course, Havdalah to make the separation between this very holy day and the rest of the week, which only consists of one day, because then we go back to Shabbat tomorrow night. So let's take a break.